Hi, everyone. It's Ryan Fowler here with my good friend Tim Costello. Inner Game Group live every Saturday, unless we're sick or Formula One is in town. So last week I was at Formula One event, sick the week before, and Jordan is currently sick, so he's out. But I'm here with my good friend Tim. We have a great show today. We're going to watch a David Goggins clip. I may disagree a little bit with these guys. I'm not sure. I did watch the clip, but it's a great clip. And David Goggins, former Navy SEAL, and he is known as the guy who has tremendous willpower and does all sorts of difficult things that are very painful and hard, and he does them anyways. Like a lot of the Navy SEALs, but he's like who are known to be able to do very unpleasant things to get the job done. But he's a Navy SEAL on steroids. And then he's with Dr. Andrew Huberman, who is a world-renowned Stanford neuroscientist. And they're going to talk about what is going on in the brain that allows us to generate willpower and allows people to expand their capacity to do difficult things. And then we're going to talk about meaning and purpose and going after what you want and all of that good stuff. But before we get into that, Tim, welcome to the show. Introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Tim with tchypno.com. You can reach me right there, email address at the bottom. Ryan, I have seen this clip before. I remember it. And I'll say this in the beginning. There is always a little bit of anxiety in doing something new, as well, right? And that's a good level of anxiety. But the more and more you do things that are unfamiliar or new, the more and more you get the opportunity to be used to that. 3 years ago when Carrie started a little pen business, I never made a pen. Now I'm just venturing into making fountain pens. And there was a little bit of anxiety there as to all the different tools I would use. But no matter what I do, I just buy the kit, I figure it out, and then 3 or 4 into it, you're easier at it. The anxiety's gone, your familiarity is there. So most of the familiarity or most of the anxiety is from a lack of familiarity. Once you get that familiarity down, then it's easier to do those harder things or more difficult things or more complex things. With Goggins, this dude is just used to doing hard things. Mm-hmm. He'll figure it out, right? He just knows that he'll figure it out and he'll be successful at it, or he'll figure it out till he does. So your brain does that for you. It gets you used to these things in repetition and the ability that you did achieve something, you did become successful, time to do something else.
Yeah, and the thing about David, and we're going to find out how you can develop your capacity to do this, is he's not only doing new unfamiliar things. By the way, that's been my life the last 3 years, switching from my old successful consulting job to this new venture, just constant learning. Like even now, it's just constant. And but it's also, how do you keep on going when times get tough? So we're gonna dig into all sorts of stuff along those lines. And welcome to the show, everyone. By the way, David Goggins, if you don't know him, we are putting you on a massive F-bomb alert. You'll probably hear him F-bombing 30 times. And so I don't mind just letting you guys know. But and welcome to the show.
Is not fruit bombing.
Yeah, it's not fruit. We're talking about something else. Welcome to the show, Denise and P-Dubs, and your
whoever
wife.
Else
is that your wife on, or is that no? That's you.
That's me.
Anyways, all right. So let's go ahead and dive into this clip. And at first, they're going to talk about some neuroscience, brainy stuff, but it won't be too long before they really get into some almost sort of philosophical stuff that we can really dig our teeth into, mixed in with neuroscience. So I'm just going to play it from the beginning. It's about a 13-minute clip. We should be able to get through the whole thing, and we'll take it from there. So here we go.
I'm going to share a little neuroscience tidbit, but I think it's one that you'll appreciate. Most people don't know this, but there's a brain structure called the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. As we pointed out before, that's a noun, it's a name, it doesn't mean anything. Right. We could call it the the Cookie Monster.
Right.
But what's interesting about this brain area is there are now a lot of data in humans, not some mouse study, showing that when people do something they don't want to do, like add 3 hours of exercise per day or per week, or when people who are trying to diet and lose weight resist eating something.
Right.
When people do anything that they, and this is the important part, that they don't want to do.
Right.
It's not about adding more work. It's about adding more work that you don't want to do.
Yes.
This brain area gets bigger.
Yep.
Now, here's what's especially interesting about this brain area to me. And by the way, I'm only learning this recently because it's new data, but there's a lot of it. The anterior mid-cingulate cortex is smaller in obese people. It gets bigger when they diet. It's larger in athletes. It's especially large or grows larger in people that see themselves as challenged and overcome some challenge.
Right.
And in people that live a very long time, this area keeps its size. In many ways, scientists are starting to think of the anterior mid-cingulate cortex not just as one of the seats of willpower,
Right.
but perhaps actually the seat of the will to live.
See, now we're talking.
And when I learned about the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, I was like almost out of my seat. And I've been in the neuroscience game since I was 20.
Now
we're the
we're
same
talking.
age. And I was so pumped because I've heard of the amygdala, fear, prefrontal cortex, it's planning and action. I could tell you every brain area and I teach neuroanatomy to medical students. But when I started seeing the data on the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, I was like, whoa, this is interesting.
Yep.
And all the data point to the fact that we can build this area up.
Yep.
But that as quickly as we build it up, if we don't continue to invest in things that are hard for us, that we don't want to do, that's the part that feels so Goggin-esque to me, that we don't want to do. Like if you love the ice bath, yeah, I love the ice bath, and you go from 1 minute to 10 minutes, guess what? Your anterior mid-cingulate cortex did not grow.
None.
But if you hate the cold water, if you're afraid of drowning and you get into water and put your head under, then your anterior mid and survive, then the anterior mid-cingulate cortex gets bigger. But if you don't do it the next day, or if you do it the next day and you enjoy it, because hey, I did it yesterday, woohoo, happy me, Merry Christmas, as you would say.
Merry Christmas.
Guess what? The anterior mid-cingulate cortex shrinks again.
Yep.
To me, this is one of the most important discoveries that neuroscience has ever made, because it's that I don't want to do something, but do it anyway.
That's right.
That grows this area. And it's almost like I have a friend, he's been sober 30 years from alcohol. And he always says, you know, the amazing thing about addiction is there's a cure. The problem is it only works one day at a time.
Yep.
And so you have to renew it every day.
That's right.
So the anterior mid-cingulate cortex, to me, when I learned about it, two things went off in my head. Whoa, this is super interesting. And two, I got to tell David Goggins about this. And I waited until now to tell you because I felt like for obvious reasons, I wanted to tell you and I wanted to tell you here.
Well, I love that because that's how I've lived my entire life. I don't know anything about that. But people go, man, you have such a strong will. It's something that you build. Like, I never forget, I was on a podcast one time, and this dude goes, you were blessed with a strong mind. Like, the hell are you talking about? I was blessed with a strong mind. That's something that you have to develop. You develop that over years, decades of suffering and going back into the suffer. That's why a lot of people who graduate Navy SEAL training, they want to know, like, I talk about it very openly all the time. A lot of guys don't want to go back into that water. Don't want to go back into the hard stuff. Maybe not anything hard in life. Once you get through it, it's like you become a POW. Like, how many POWs want to go back to POW camp? None. When something sucks so bad in life, this is on this that we're talking about now. Very few people want to go back. They're happy they graduated. I realized I'm the same way. I don't want to go back. I have to go back. I must go back because that is exactly where all the knowledge of my life exists, was back there and what you're exactly talking about. Well, I didn't know anything about this, but how I grew a will was constantly doing these things to now it's just life. I wake up while it still sucks. It's just life. You don't sit back and like, oh my God, like I have days I don't want to do it, but I know I'm going to do it. I know from years of just doing it. So that's beautiful. And this is why I came on here with you today. And I'm glad that you're talking about this because human beings need to hear this. They need to stop hearing these hacks on this and that. There's no fucking hack, bro. There's no fucking hack. Yeah, you may this and that and saunas and all this shit yeah, it's great. There is no fucking life hack. To grow that thing, how do you grow it? Do it and do it and do it and do it. That's the hack. The hack is gonna fucking suck. And that's what I realized. That's what I realized. Life, that's why I wanted to come on here today. I didn't want to come on here and talk about no fucking passion and purpose and how to get the fuck out of bed and how to hit a fucking alarm clock and all this catchphrase bullshit. Because that wasn't how I lived. That wasn't how I lived. I woke up like every human being does and goes, fuck, man, I'm a fucking piece of shit today. How the hell is this going to work out for me? And you fight that. You don't override it. There's no override button. It's the conversation in your fucking, in your head. So how do you do that? We don't have enough of these conversations about the real conversation that every human being is having. And they have no idea how to get out of it, but they do. It's that shit right there, man. You gotta build your will.
So let's stop there for a second.
Yeah, that's a perfect stopping place. I was going to stop at the same time. Go ahead.
You know, I think, and I've known this for a long time, that David Goggins is a guy who really is fueled by dirty fuel. You know,
there's definitely some there. Yeah,
not to the extent that it destroys him, but he's got some demons in there that he lightly mentions.
Yeah.
And he is fighting those every day. So in that, you know, he's got just enough toxic fuel to fuel him ahead and prove himself that he is. So I would imagine he's probably a guy that consistently seeks external validation because of a lack of a tremendous amount of internal validation. He's definitely got some. There's no doubt about it. But I think there's a mix for him that drives him forward with this dirty fuel. And he's right, though. There is no hack. The hack is to fix your inner game. Because once you fix your inner game, it just self-fuels itself into whatever you need to do. And it's interesting that you have to hate to want to do something to get that AMCC to grow.
Yeah, there is a tremendous amount to unpack here, but instead of, usually you play it for a minute and then we're already commenting.
Right.
I'm gonna maybe play it a little later. I need to, maybe I found it already. The Alex Hormozy clip I play all the time, where he talks about the 3 things that highly successful people have. Let's see.
Yep.
Nope.
And not every highly successful person has it, but many of them do.
Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger does not.
Correct.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, we played clips of him. Now, and the real tip off here was he's like, you wake up in the morning, I'm a piece of shit. Like he said that.
That was it.
And there are now, if you read my ebook, and everyone should read my ebook so you understand the fundamentals of how our brain works. I'm going to look up the Alex Hormozy clip while we're watching more of this. There are 3 archetypes of people when it comes to motivation. And the first type is probably 80% of humans, which is survival mode, stay small, play it safe. And they have toxic shame in them. Toxic shame, feeling not good enough, and they feel if they fail at something or they make a mistake, they embarrass themselves, they're going to feel bad, so they play it safe a lot of the time. And these people live average, mediocre lives. and that's 80% hate. They're not bad people at all. They have a lot of good things about them, but they're not going to end up being like, they're not going to ultimately get the life they want, living the life they want, because it's just too hard.
Right.
And the reason it's just too hard is they don't believe in their ability and value.
Correct.
And that's the number one thing we fix is we're all about fixing people's deep down subconscious core beliefs. There is a second archetype, and that would be people like David Goggins. But by the way, David has a wealth of insight, and he is the real deal. You know, he'll run like a 200-kilometer ultra marathon. I mean, he's that type of guy.
Yeah.
He'll have stress fractures in his legs and keep on running, and he's literally done that. And he has titanium plates and screws and all of that in some of his bones because he has ran himself or exercised or whatever, to the point where he's literally stress fracturing his bones and needs surgery and all of that, and he keeps going. So the reason David Goggins is on the show with a world famous neuroscientist is he's known for pushing through tremendous pain and going and going and going and going. Right. And so he's not only a Navy SEAL who got through Hell Week and all of that and does all that difficult thing, he's done much beyond that. Why does he do that? Well, the second motivational archetype is people who feel not good enough, and their belief system is, if I achieve more, then I'll be good enough.
That's correct.
And he's really interesting because he later on talks about how he more or less says he feels he has purpose in life. And I think he does. But he has that, just when he said, you get up in the morning and I'm a piece of shit, and, you know, he's telling you what he feels like. And so when I play I'll play the Alex Hormozi clip for our audience. Alex Hormozi, in 7 years, went from almost $0 net worth to $100 million net worth. And he's a guy who works 100 hours a week. He's a very intelligent and very skilled businessman and an amazingly hard worker. And I have a clip where he talks about how these ultra motivated people deep down feel not good enough, but they also feel they can do anything. So, and they feel they need to do all sorts of stuff in order to be enough, and it never works. So they're just obsessively driven forward.
Correct.
To work extremely hard. Now, that's all. This is kind of everything surrounding what they're talking about today, which is, and I think there is a lot of merit to this. And honestly, there are a lot of victims out there that need to listen to David Goggins, which is, stop your whining and get to work.
Yes.
And core identity, what we work with, core beliefs, subconscious core beliefs. Many people have they're like, if I fail, everyone's going to see it. Everyone's going to laugh at me, or my dad's going to punish me, because when they were a kid, their dad beat them up when they made mistakes. And the truth is, the dad hated himself and took it out on his kids, but the kids, as a child, you interpret it as, I'm not good enough for my dad. So you see a lot of people not taking risks, not working hard. And we work on the core identity beliefs, which is, we get you to believe, yes, you can. The more you do anything, the better you get. There's no greatness without adversity, but you overcome, you become stronger. That's what they're talking about here. We put a lot of that in your core. But at the end of the day, even with good core beliefs, at some point you just need to suck it up and say, I'm going to do this come hell or high water.
Well, just because you have a solid inner game does not make the life expectancy or the life experience easier. It's still difficult. You just deal with it a little bit better, maybe, but
a lot better. It can be tremendously better.
Right. But I'm just saying
your
that
ability to do it increases, but things are still
absolutely
difficult.
But life is still hard. Life is still a challenge. And sometimes you create more challenges for yourself than you deserve. But life is a challenge.
And what Dr. Huberman was talking about with this part of your brain is the more you do difficult things you don't want to do, and there's a really great book out there, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyways. And the more you do that, the better you get at it. It's just like if someone's a weak guy and like the girls are ignoring him because he just has spaghetti arms and, oh, woe is me, poor me. It's like, get in the gym, man. You know?
So Ryan, does that mean, and I guess we'll learn more about the AMC squared a little while later.
Mhm.
Does that mean mine is not enlarged because I don't hate doing things?
I don't know. Is there, you've never done anything you didn't want to do, Tim?
I can't think of something.
That's very interesting. By the way, for our audience, Tim is one of those super hard workers who also you just kick ass, man. My conversation with Tim Costello earlier, I was like, how's it going? He's like, I've been up since 7 a.m. working. And it's a Saturday. So yeah, you're kind of a fluke that way, Tim. But
does that mean my AMCC squared or whatever is not enlarged or doesn't need to be enlarged, or do I not need to enlarge it?
I don't know.
That's really interesting because I was thinking, oh man, this would be cool. Mine must be huge. Wait a minute. I don't hate to do anything. I love a challenge. I love learning new stuff. So it's an interesting.
Is there something you do now? I actually want to discuss this with you, Tim, which is, why are people doing all this stuff they don't want to do? And my question for you before we get to that is there stuff that while you're doing it, you're like, this sucks, but I'm going to do it anyways for a better reason?
Not that I can recall. Maybe there is something internal that I don't notice as I begin new things, but I don't go into something saying, boy, this is really going to suck.
But you just said earlier you were telling me you had some anxiety about learning how to make fountain pens.
There's a little bit of anxiety in, not that I don't want to do it, but do I know enough? Do I have enough tools? Can I get the technique down? Can I get the process down? You know, that kind of stuff. In fact, as I was making my very first fountain pen, which nobody will ever own because it's quite frankly a piece of crap. I learned a lot about aligning my lathe and getting the right tools and doing the right process and doing the right measurements and making mistakes. But I didn't hate doing anything. I was really excited that one day, maybe in a couple of weeks, I'll start making and producing a very fine fountain pen.
Yeah. How strong was that anxiety or any resistance to get started for you?
It's more of an anxiety of not knowing. Like, do I know enough? Where do I start? How do I do it? How many videos do I have to watch? Okay, I watched 3 videos. Let's jump in and see what happens.
Yeah. So my question is, did you feel any resistance? Like, this is going to be hard to do. I don't want to do it type of thing.
No, I knew I could do it. I just had to figure it out. I mean, I spent 12 years in submarines, and the thing that sucked was that you had to go to sea, right? Yeah. You're going to shut the hatch and you're going to stay submerged 70 to 85 days, depending upon your cycle and stuff like that. Did I not want to do it? It's not something you wake up in the morning going, boy, I can't wait to do that. But it's not like I had a lot of resistance doing it. You know what I mean? Okay. So maybe deep down there was like, I really don't want to do this, but I got to go do it. So let's go do it.
Okay. And didn't your dad put you to work quite a bit as a kid growing up?
Oh, when I was 5 or 6, I was at the gas station because remember, this is back when tires had inner tubes. And once the inner tube got bad, it wasn't good for a car anymore. You had to put a new one in. So I would take the old ones, blow them up, find the holes, patch them, and then I could sell them for $1 for people to go tube on the Salt River. Or I was working in the yard, or I was, I can't remember a day. At 11 years old, I had a paper route. delivered 150 papers a day. And, you know, after that became there, I could get a real job. I went and became a stock boy at a convenience store. And then I started working at a gas station. So I literally have been doing something since I was 5 or 6 years old.
Your son Kevin says you don't like going on a Disney cruise.
Oh no, I'll go. I don't hate going. I just don't want to.
What's that mean?
I would just rather stay home and staycate and do something and build something and, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not good at relaxing. Doesn't mean I hate to. I'm just not good at it. I want to do something. I want to create something. I want to fix something. Or I want to play video games all day.
Yeah.
Whatever the case may be. Now, Denise says, do you like going to the doctor? I don't mind going to the doctor. I just don't feel the need to go to the doctor.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
I had a checkup in August. Carrie finally made an appointment for me. And the last checkup prior to August of 2025 was August of 1991 when I got out of the Navy.
Yeah.
So, and you know what I told Carrie, I said, I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with me. I'm doing good or whatever. So we did the colorectal exam. We did the PSA. We did all the blood work and all that kind of stuff. And the doctor says, you're just too fat. That was it. The whole exam. Everything else was fine.
What about dieting? Is it hard? So what I'm trying to figure out, have you ever had a time where there's something you wanted to do or you needed to do it and it was difficult to get started? Resistance.
You know, there's probably always some level of resistance, even if it's not huge, to doing something new.
Yeah.
Doing something different. And I definitely experienced that, like making all these fountain pens. And I finally bought about $3,000 worth of tools to make the very first fountain pen that you'll probably sell for $200. And now my first fountain pen will go nowhere, but I'm learning the process. I'm getting it down. So there was a little resistance, and I want to make sure I buy the right tools. I want to cry once, buy once. I don't want to buy a cheaper tool and then scrap it and have to buy a better tool because I should have bought the better tool the first time.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of stuff. So it's probably, for me, just normal. It's like, okay, here comes something new. I need to do this new thing, and I got to figure it out. So there's not anxiety like it's crippling, just anxiety like I'm on high alert to make sure I get all the information I need to get that thing done.
But
Denise buys a lot of pens for me, right?
Yeah. So Tim, you're telling us your thought process. But you do feel some resistance.
Always. I mean, there's always something. I don't hate it. I want to do it. I just don't know if I know enough to take that step.
Okay. So doing a therapy session with Tim right now. Just kidding, Tim.
Nice. I love it. He's the best.
Here's what I'm trying to get to. Why should we do things that we don't want to do?
Because you learn and grow.
Yeah. And why do you want to learn and grow?
Because then you get to learn and grow some more. You know stuff. You learn stuff. You have experience, and it's satisfactory.
I agree. And what they've been talking about so far in this video is when you do hard things, a part of your brain that you don't want to do, a part of your brain increases your ability to do more hard things that you don't want to do.
I would agree with that.
My question is, why do that in the first place? Because there are people like right now, they have this EBD program, the food stamps program, that's running out of funding because of the shutdown. Yep. And I think Trump either has or wants to tweak it further to make it more restrictive, which I think is a great idea. There's tremendous fraud in that program.
Yep.
There's illegal aliens using that, and they're not paying taxes into the system, but they're mooching off the system. And you literally see women who have 6 kids so that they can make enough money to not work.
Yes.
And from government subsidies like the EBD program, and you're seeing them on TikTok right now, Instagram right now. They're not contributing anything to society. They're draining. I guess they had children, but they're not making these children productive members of society. A lot of the children, there's going to be a lot of crime from this demographic, and a lot of probably best case scenario is they get on the dole. And so they sit at home all day. They become morbidly obese. And I'm not exaggerating. Just go on the internet and go on Instagram, whatever. Look at these people saying that they're going to that they're going to go on a rampage when their food stamps get cut off. Why not just do that? Why not just live this life of ease? Because you kind of can if you're willing to accept certain things. In some countries, you can. Not all.
Well, culturally speaking, that crowd learns that from other members of the crowd as an easy way out. Here's an easy life hack. And let me tell you, that's not an easy life hack. It is a hack, but it's not easy.
It's a hack, and then you're miserable.
Yes.
Because what I will say, what I've noticed why do we do these hard things? Why do we do unpleasant things? Well, for me, and I'd like to know to what extent you align with this, by learning and growing, and by going after what we want the most, to go after the really big things you want, like, oh, I want to change the world, or I want to become, when you're a kid, you're like, I want to become an astronaut, or, you want to provide a good life for your wife and kids, but it all comes down to you want to feel fulfilled. You want to live a life of purpose and meaning, even though you're good enough as you are, sitting around on your butt doing nothing. Now, yesterday I took a day off, and it is kind of funny because I usually work 6.5 days a week. I'm not saying I work super long hours. It's probably, normal days of work hours, but I work 6 days a week. Took a day off yesterday. Did feel a little lazy about it, but I'm not beating myself up. It's kind of cool too. But I've never met anyone who was not fulfilling their potential and living an easy life who wasn't miserable at some level.
Say that again.
I've never met someone who was not fulfilling their potential, living a very easy life. I've never met someone who was doing that and not miserable on some level.
So even they've been working hard, fulfilling.
No, I'm talking about people living easy lives.
Oh, living a seemingly easy life. So they've achieved nothing, and they're not really fulfilling anything. They're just being lazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
They're not happy.
They're not happy.
I one time had a conversation with a guy on a bus. So when I was in college in Utah, I would take a bus ride to the music store to teach guitar lessons to make some money.
Yep.
And I met a guy on the bus, and he told me, he was like my age now, 50. And he told me he doesn't work. And I said, why don't you work? And he said, well, many years ago, I just slipped into a deep depression, and I've been there ever since. And a lot of these people who, I think food stamps are fine as a temporary crutch. I think sometimes life can hit you really hard. And sometimes you get knocked flat on your butt and you need time to recoup. And hey, don't starve in the meantime. Temporary. But people who are on it just full time, they're not happy. And we know that there really is no excuse. Look at Sean Stevenson. Remember the 2'8" guy, all deformed in the wheelchair? He got a doctorate. Got married, died a multimillionaire. And he was 2'8" and incredibly deformed, and he had brittle bones and all this other stuff. Still lived an amazing life. So I don't think doing hard things just for the sake of hard things. There's some people who do that. Maybe Goggins does hard things for the sake of doing hard things. Okay, power to you. But I think I think we really should go after what we want, do all that hard stuff. And what we find out is that who we are transforms. And we literally we learn and grow, and we become amazing people. And the people who do that, I remember when I started making six figures, and, you know, I got a BMW sports car and everything. And I remember a point in my life thinking, is this all there is? It just work hard and make money. And I kind of felt pretty unfulfilled. I don't feel that at all anymore. Why? Because I'm going after what I really want the most.
Yep.
And there's a lot of hard stuff involved. Like, you have seen me, Tim, before, like back when I was learning how to use this, all this camera gear and equipment.
Yeah.
You saw me like F-bombing my equipment because I was so freaking frustrated. Because I was, and you've seen me talking to you. I'm overwhelmed right now. I'm burnt out. You know, I'm not burnt out now, but you've seen me telling you that in the past. But I never feel unfulfilled.
Correct.
Doing what I'm doing, which is just the other day I sent you that review, Trustpilot review.
Yes.
A guy gave me a review. He said he probably would kill himself if I didn't help him.
No, it's monumental and phenomenal.
I mean, just thinking about that.
When some guy tells you that he would not be alive today if it weren't for your efforts, that's pretty fulfilling and overwhelming all at the same time.
But that's true. But that would not happen. The reason I'm helping others now is because of tremendous suffering as a child, as an adult, etc., overcoming that and then helping others. So you've been through many difficult things. You're a very hard worker. You do stuff where you feel that resistance. I think you've just been, personally, Tim, I think you've just been used to pushing forward for so long that it is kind of your normal now. And so the resistance, you feel it, but you just keep going. So I actually think this part of the brain, this willpower part, is probably pretty darn big for you.
It's, the resistance isn't a crippling resistance. It's I want to spend the money in the right place and achieve something through that rather than not do it at all. Like, It doesn't cripple me. It's just like, do I have enough information? That's the anxiety, sort of the self-doubt of, do I have enough information? Like I was saying, Denise buys a lot of pens for me. I want to make sure I'm making awesome freaking pens that when she shows them to her friends or gives them as gifts, they all go, wow, right? Because a lot of effort went into making that particular pen. It wasn't just I was cranking out 50 of them and this was one of them. These are ones that I do just for her. Carrie picks out, she buys blanks, Carrie matches the blanks, the colors in the blank with the right pen style, the right color of metal in the pen. And then I get my assignment of putting it all together, and it's fun.
Yeah.
But it's a little scary at the same time because I want it to come out perfect.
Yeah. We have a bunch of comments I'm going to get through, but really the crux of this discussion is we do have power to do difficult things. The more we do it, the better we get at doing difficult things. And then why should we do difficult things? Well, I don't believe in doing difficult things just for the sake of doing difficult things. Some people may, and that's fine. There's benefit to that because you do become a stronger person just by doing difficult things. But I think everyone should have a dream or a life goal, or maybe just a 5-year goal or whatever, but something where deep in your bones, you're like, this is really what I want to go for. Whether it is being a garbage man to support your family, and then you come home and your daughter hugs your leg and says, Daddy, and that's why you do it. Or whether it's to change the world, or just to feel like you're making difference in the world, or you have a dream and goal. You know, Arnold Schwarzenegger, I want to become the best bodybuilder ever. And then he did. Fantastic. But you want some goal like that makes doing hard things worth it. and understand we are not meant for a life of ease. We are meant for a life of meaning.
Yep. Challenge. Overcoming.
Correct. And we all already have everything we need in us. Maybe not to be at this level right now where we have all the skills we need to accomplish the things we want to accomplish, but we have everything we need in us to learn and grow and get to that point.
You know what I really love?
And in that sense, we are already enough as we are.
Yep. I love the variety of the things you can do. Now, Ryan, you personally would love Denise. Denise owns a gun shop in Florida.
Yeah, I would love Denise.
And her brother makes these masterpiece archery compound bow things that I can barely even describe correctly because I don't know enough about what that is.
Okay.
But her dad started a gun shop way back, and she's been doing this thing ever since. And they got the gun range there, and they don't build them and machine them and all that kind of stuff. They just sell lots of stuff. And Ryan's a lover of guns, so that's why I'm saying you'd love Denise, because she's got a masterpiece of stuff all around the store. But that's the variety. So Denise has got this gig where they sell guns and fix guns and trade guns and pawn shop and all that kind of stuff. Or there's the person who goes to college and becomes a botanist, and then 25 years later is thought of as the renowned expert on herbs and spices around the garden. And that person didn't make a lot of money, but they have challenged and fulfilled and grown herbs and spices and all that kind of stuff, and learned and how they, everything you can about that. That's the beauty of it. Or the guy who's a welder and he loves to weld, and he got a good living, has a family, and he loves to go fishing, right? And he's got a fishing boat and fishing poles and knows the right bait and all that kind of stuff. I love the variety of life that, as long as you know you're good enough, you go do what you want to do.
And learn and grow in the meantime.
Yes. Yeah. You'll grow in the meantime. You'll become the expert at it.
So in order to have a life of meaning and purpose and pursue and achieve what we want, it will invariably involve doing a lot of unpleasant things, or things we just don't want to do in the meantime, or things we feel resistance to doing.
Yep. And
the good news here is there's a part of your brain that grows that makes it easier. So let's get to the rest of the clip, because he actually starts talking about how he doesn't David Goggins has some toxic shame in him, but at the same time he talks about how he doesn't question whether or not he has meaning. So I want to get to that. There's some really good stuff in here we still need to get to, so let's keep going.
Build your will. Exactly what you said, man. Exactly what you said.
Well, I feel like knowing the name of something, anterior mid-cingulate cortex, doesn't fundamentally change us. But one thing I like about biology is that willpower.
Oh, hold on. It's guys, are you able to hear this? It's showing something different.
I can hear it, but the mastering the willpower came up or something.
Yeah. So I'm just wondering, our audience, I'll keep playing it, and if it's blank on your end, just let us know, audience. Here we go.
The audio was
if
good.
Somebody feels they don't have it, feels like this thing that other people have, but everybody, unless they're brain damaged, like a hole through their head, has.
I'm getting a notice.
Are we getting one of those copyright strikes or something?
Well, it's not a strike. Let's see what the message was telling me, though.
Two anterior mid-cingulate cortex, one on each side of their brain. Everyone has one. They have two. So I feel like it's just a question of opening the portal. And the portal, I'm going to say 10 times and forgive me, is I think people go, oh, I do hard things. I do sets to failure, and then I do forced reps. I love training with weights. I love doing sets to failure. I even like forced reps. But guess what? I like forced reps. So I'll tell you, they don't build my anterior mid-cingulate cortex.
Right.
Because I like to do it.
That's right.
anything you like to do is not going to enhance this aspect of willpower. And it seems so obvious once you hear it. You kind of go, oh yeah, of course. But I think you really close that loop for people when you share what you're sharing today and what you've shared elsewhere before as well, when you're trying to explain the friction is the critical ingredient.
Right.
And I think people think, oh, if it's effort, well, then I'm getting better. That's part of it, necessary but not sufficient, as we say in science. But the suck part, the being haunted, the stick, they're really unpleasant terms.
Very.
These are probably the most unpleasant terms we've ever used on this podcast.
Very.
Those are the levers. Those are the gears. And without those, this thing that you're talking about, David Goggins, as a verb.
Right.
You know, I sometimes make the joke, but it's not a joke.
Right.
Goggins is a name and it's a verb. People go, I'm going to Goggins that.
Right.
Right. But that's, I think, again, I'm not a psychologist, but I think that's what you're talking about. The stick, the friction, being haunted. It's the suck part that grows this anterior mid-cingulate cortex.
So hang on there.
Now you know why.
Okay.
There's so many.
So I think the words he uses are the words that are sort of distracting me a little bit, right? Oh, stream suspended for policy violations. Uh-oh.
I'm not seeing that.
Yeah, look at your live. No, it's not on ours. We're still StreamYarding.
Oh,
But
we
if you
can
go-
just we can take it off and just have a discussion then.
Yeah, yeah. But we'll wait for the crowd to come back. Yeah, because right now
That's very
broadcasting.
interesting because I've never had issues with Huberman stuff before. But
I wonder if we played it too long. We didn't interrupt it enough. But right now the stream is unavailable. It's still working, still going.
does it hear us?
No, Carrie's laughing right now. Why is it unavailable? But if you go look at the live, you'll see that it's unavailable right now.
All right, that's stupid. That's retarded, but whatever.
But anyway, I guess we'll wait
Yeah.
for that to go away.
Hello, coming back on.
Yeah, it's still not there.
Stop sharing. I've never had issues with his stuff before. Maybe it's because of how long we played it. Let's see.
Yeah, I think we went too long with it or something without interrupting it.
So it's a good thing when we talk as often as we do, huh?
Yep, absolutely.
Huh?
Because it looked like we weren't fair using it. It looked like we were just playing it.
Yeah. Well, let me go to the live. Stream unavailable. Stream suspended.
But I'll say this while we're being unavailable right now.
Yeah.
The words he's using, hate, suck, that kind of stuff, I think I experienced a little bit of that in the resistance with anxiety to a new thing. Oh, we're back.
We're back.
We're back, just us.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah, but one of the things I wanted to interrupt that thing for when it went unavailable was that he's using words now that I would recognize as new things come along, as often as they come along, is a resistance to things, right? You don't have to hate it. You just have to be resistant towards it as you approach in there, or there's some anxiety, whatever. And as you plow through, that's when the AMCC grows. That's when
I think you have to really not want to do it.
Yeah, and like I said in the beginning is not that you don't want to do it, but that you do want to do it, but there's a lot of resistance to getting it done.
Yeah.
Some anxiety, some knowledge, whatever you have to gain. That would be how I am now reading what Huberman is saying. Because Arnold Schwarzenegger must have a tiny AMCC because he wants to be the best and has to be the best and loves being the best. But that's not true because he does great and difficult things to be the best. So I think it does grow. And you learn over time, sure, I got great willpower because I did it before. I'll go do it again. Just the players have changed.
Yeah, so it's not only about doing difficult things, but it's about doing difficult things you don't want to do. And why do we do difficult things we don't want to do? For a greater purpose. Because there's some sort of benefit on the other side. And so we really get people's internal resistance down quite a bit. You know, watch the client interviews, case studies, video interviews on my video section of my YouTube channel. You see people saying, man, I'm doing stuff. It's so much easier now, et cetera, et cetera. There's still things that are going to be hard to do. There's still going to be things you don't want to do. Do it anyways.
Yes.
So do it anyways, because there are certain types of growth you will get no other way. And unfortunately, we can't show the rest of that stream. But I'll tell you what Mr. Goggins says on that. He says he never wakes up in the morning feeling unfulfilled. He has some toxic shame in him saying, I'm a piece of shit. You know, he mentioned that earlier. He'll wake up feeling that way. But he also never has any question as to what his purpose in life is.
Correct.
And so doing the hard things to live a life of purpose and meaning will involve doing things you don't want to do. And this is why the woke movement, thank goodness, it's winding down. It's losing power, losing steam. It's going out fighting. You look at Antifa and all this other crap. But that's why it's such a terrible movement, because they're all about, you need to do everything so I'm never offended. And it's like, maybe there's some benefit to being offended.
Yes.
And experiencing that unpleasantness. You know, why? What? Oh, I feel unsafe. You're not really unsafe. It's like, if someone is so weak internally that someone else's words, when there's no threat of violence at all whatsoever, and they're not threatened to get fired or anything, it's just they're called by the wrong pronouns. If that makes you feel unsafe, you are a weak person, and you need to do a lot of unpleasant things and get used to that. You need to toughen the hell up.
That's correct.
And by the way, I saw this. There was this study that shows that like this woke demographic also has a very high prevalence of mental illness.
Yes. You know, we spoke a little bit about that before, that my hypothesis was that those being woke and those living in the woke, there's a little bit of victim mentality there. There is a lack of inner game, a solid inner game. They don't feel good enough. They're damaged individuals, that kind of thing. Not all of them. They
need to get that sorted out.
Yeah, but a bunch of them. So I'm with you that that's how that works out.
They need to get all their core beliefs fixed. That's what we do. But then they need to go out and do difficult things and toughen the hell up.
Yes.
And do things they don't want to do. So my takeaway is it's okay to live a life of struggle, and it's okay to feel fear and do it anyways, or feel I really don't want to do this and do it anyways. We get a lot of people's internal resistance down in many ways, but not in all ways. And do it anyways, because on the other side is a life of purpose and meaning, and you will literally, this part of your brain grows. It empowers you more to do unpleasant things. And that's how every aspect of who we are is. We do difficult things or unpleasant things or whatever, and we transform and become better people. And then we don't go around in life depressed, hollow, empty, unfulfilled, because we're doing what it takes to get to where we want, even though it's hard and even though some of these things we don't want to do.
Correct.
So that's my takeaway from his video. I forgot to put the link in the description. I'll put it in or I can put it in the chat. I recommend everyone watch this video. And that's a takeaway for me today. The kind of what I wanted to convey to you guys is don't expect a life of ease, and don't expect to have a life where there's never hard things you don't want to do. I don't believe in eating paint or doing things that are just flat out stupid. But if there is a good reward on the other side, then embrace the suck and do what it takes to get there.
That's it.
Anything to add, Tim?
You know, life isn't easy, but it doesn't have to be as difficult as some make it. So everybody has a challenge. Everybody has to learn something. Everybody has to, you know, fend for themselves and do what they need to do. But it doesn't mean it has to suck. It's supposed to be a challenge, supposed to get above it, supposed to move through it, but it doesn't have to suck day in and day out. And
I agree.
Somewhere near the end of that, you should have some level of happiness and satisfaction. If not, then the fruit you're eating sucks. Get another fruit.
Yeah, I don't believe in doing things you don't want to do to get something you don't want to get. I don't believe in becoming a doctor and you hate being a doctor and you could do that the rest of your life because your parents pressured you into it.
Right.
I believe in, if you really want to help people and you really want to become a medical doctor, I believe you should do all sorts of things you don't want to do to achieve that goal. But it should be a goal you want.
Correct.
And in the process, you transform and become a better person. And you're not going to be questioning your purpose in life or feeling unfulfilled at that point. So we're not here for a life of ease. We're here for a life of meaning. That's my message. Anything final to add, Tim?
No, that's a good one, man. I think we beat this one to death and even got copyright striked or delayed or something. So we achieved something.
It wasn't a copyright strike per se. You get 3 of those and your channel gets banned. But yeah, there's some sort of. So sorry to our audience for that. That hasn't happened in like a year, but it is what it is.
I think we'll have to interrupt every 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, but that's our message for the day. And even if you don't have certain skills right now, keep pushing forward, keep doing the hard things, and you will transform as a person and get the power and the skills you need to live a life of purpose and meaning. And if you have internal struggles, right here, the banner going across the bottom, if you feel not good enough, if you're like, man, I have way too much anxiety, way too much procrastination, something's wrong internally, go to our school community. There's a free self-hypnosis course there. And we've had people change their life just on the free course. Most people at some point want direct one-on-one guidance. There's stuff they can't figure out on their own. There it is, school.com/RyanFowlerSOS-7231. But go after what you want and embrace the suck in the meantime till you get there. It shouldn't be nonstop 24/7 suck. I mean, yeah, if you're going to be a Navy SEAL, you're going to have some weeks like that. Go for it. If you want to do that, go for it. Most people don't want to, and that's fine. But there will be times where you just got to buckle down, tough it up, get it done. And that will actually transform you and make you a better person. And if you don't have the power now, you can get the power, because you truly do have power, more power than you know, to transform and then gain that power and live a life of purpose and meaning. So that's our show. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.